bit of a video today. We're going to be talking about something I'm pretty sure you understand as working people. If you don't, well, listen up because you'll have to be going through this a lot. One, I'm going to be giving you some advice on what to look for when it comes to. I'm going to give you the signs of a toxic work environment. A work environment that basically has rules for them, and well, no, it's more rules for you, not rules for them. And how you doing? How you doing? Thank you very much for checking out my videos. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, comment down below, hit that little bell icon, know when I'm putting out next vid. I am going to be doing another video later. It's a game video because I do game videos as well as advice videos. I like these what I call walkabouts, but today we're not doing walkabout and we're not doing karaoke either. Yes, folks, we do karaoke as well on this channel. I have different hats, and even though I don't have hats. Anyway, uh, here's the best way I can explain what a no, if you guys want to know, if you want to see any other type of specific games, I can try. In if you know any good games, know that I do mostly action games, RPGs, anime games, but specifically, I love those. But if you have any ideas on which kind of games you want to see on my channel, go ahead and put it in the videos, in the comments, and I'll try really hard to get them or play them on the video on the channel. Um, anyway, we're gonna be talking. Like I said, we were talking about people having to deal with very toxic management in your companies and toxic management styles. One of the biggest ones is your manager sticking everything on you. I'm gonna be honest, guys. There are companies that basically try to, um, basically not pay enough in the sense where they're paying you for one person, even though you're doing four people's jobs. I've known because I have a buddy of mine that works at a actual company. I can't remember what it was called. So he works in a, how can I say, well, if I remember correctly, he works in a business company. I don't remember exactly which business, but he works in an actual office. In the office, and he's basically doing paperwork most of the time, and a lot of times everybody puts everything on him because he is the senior in the group. And the problem was toxic trait number one, they are putting all the work on my friend. And the other one is, like I said, I'm sorry, my brain went. So my friend was dealing with all this crap, and the problem was he basically says to his work, "Why am I getting everybody's job where when you can divvy up the responsibilities between all the staff, right?" The manager being a base, and from what I'm hearing, and I've actually been to his job once, and I actually saw the only reason I came to his job was because I was hanging out with him, and then I wanted to go pick him up, so I did, and we both saw the fact that his manager was just sitting there doing nothing. Hi, how's it going? Thank you very much for checking my videos. Long story short, The guy was doing nothing. Exactly how my friend was describing him. I don't know if it was the fact that there was nothing to do or the fact that that was just himself, even though I saw my friends and I do remember this. This is what happened. As soon as we were about to move out, apparently his oh no, I have to do work radar happened. And I'm talking about the manager. He got up, going up to my friend in front of me, by the way, and said, "Hey, where you going?" And my friend goes, "It's quitting time, sir. I gotta go. I got plans for the rest of the day." And the manager looked at my friend like he just stepped in a piece of shit. No kidding. He gave him that look. Mind you, he didn't say anything because apparently he didn't like the fact that there was an audience. Yikes, guys! Whenever you have a manager that has that attitude, um, yeah, don't let it happen. So anyway, as I'm as we were talking, the manager tries to play the well. You do realize if you leave, we're gonna be leaving the work to the rest of the people. And my friend, with no hesitation, he goes, as it should, because I'm doing 8 jobs in one, and I'm still not getting my pay rate. The manager did not like that like clapback. He looks at me and he asks me, "What about you? What would you do? What would you do in that situation?" He actually asked my opinion on whether or not I would be a piece of shit manager. He asked me, what would you do in this situation where your worker doesn't want to do his job?" And I say, well, for one thing, I have to know what my worker job description is. That's number one. Number two, I make sure that they do that specific job. And if they got to do more, I got to give him compensation or at least an incentive to do it. And then I looked at him straight in the face and I said, no, I don't mean compensation as in keep your job. No, that is not a compensation or incentive. That is basically what I would do. I would make sure that, they're well taken care of as a good manager. I made sure that they know what they need to do and I help them do their job. A great manager would be on top of the job as well because I would be teaching them. I would not apply rules that only apply to me or them. I would apply rules that apply to everyone. That way, everyone could work safely, happily, and productively. Happily is, mind you, it isn't necessarily mandatory, but at the same time, it would help. Morale is definitely one of the things that in a job a lot of managers forget that it's a thing, guys. Morale is one of the things that makes everybody want to come back to the job. Makes you want to come back every day. If you have low morale or at least an incentive to come back, that means that the job is getting done and done right. A lot of people don't realize when it comes to management, management isn't just you do this and go on. No, that was again, he hit every negative feedback. Apparently this guy had no shame in describing what kind of person he was. He assumed that automatically made that being a manager automatic uh, dirtbag. Apparently, that was his personality. It wasn't his job title. It was his personality. Mind you, I asked him, "It's like, are you gonna get in trouble for that?" Because I kind of mouthed off to him, and he looks at me, he goes, if he does, I either have HR on speed dial because apparently he had to be close friends with HR. No kidding. In fact, here's the part of the story that makes me laugh. As we were leaving, um, again, same story, same full on story. It was it was the funniest shit ever. We actually became friends. The HR guy here, mind you, I would have joined the government. I would have joined the office too if it wasn't A, too far, and B, the office just it did not like the aura of that place. Just no. I would have loved to say that the manager got fired, but no. All that happened was basically he got deneedled. Not really. He didn't lose his job specifically. He just lost a lot of his power. He didn't get demoted or anything, but he kept his managerial power, but he lost the ability to delegate basically. Because every time, and the problem was they didn't want to lose another management because apparently they had a really bad reputation of management, and that was the issue. I'm like, you can fit, and mind you, that I only know this is because they told me, the HR told me, it's like the only reason that they haven't gotten rid of him yet is because of management being nepotism, uh, uh, pure nepotism, because apparently the manager was a cousin of someone in the higher up echelon, and I'm like, wait, are you telling me everybody in management is family and or friends of these people? He goes, yeah, pretty much. And I go, wait, you're the manager, and he goes, yeah, I'm kind of the cousin. I'm like, and I look at him and I'm like, well, you seem to be a stand up guy, and I go, yeah, I'm the exception, unfortunately. He goes, that's what he told me. I'm the exception. I hate the fact that this is the case, but that's why I chose being HR management because I knew the nepotism was going down, and all I do is make sure that I fix the problem. I go, damn, bro. I mean, I feel bad for you. I really do because like now you're in that hole, and all that happens is you're basically the unsung hero. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people tell you that HR is not for the. Technically, it's the real purpose for an HR is to make sure a the the management and or the company is done right in as far as laws, legal laws. I'm talking about is if you feel like your management is power tripping or whatever, HR has to be neutral. It cannot actually be on the side of the they have to be there. They're basically the legal buffer for the general consensus and the employees, the population and employees. Because if you as a manager are doing something really dumb, like for instance, you're basically proving really bad management style. If you're doing a really bad management style, and they show that they're doing bad management, so ugh, sorry, my brain went. So basically, what happens is if you as a manager are basically hurting your employees, HR actually has the legal uh, power to um, basically shut that down. If you're overworking and causing so much, and mind you, this is in a great company, one that actually has any power, any morality. If you are a manager that is basically causing burnout left, right, and center, that should be a major league red flag, because that basically means you are causing the company more in training individuals than anything. You are causing the problem because retaining your employees is exactly what most companies prefer, because they don't have to charge, they don't have to, you know, put more money into recruitment, because putting it putting in places like LinkedIn and other advertisements, ladies and gentlemen, that costs more money than most salaries. I'll tell you that right now, in the long run, because you have to keep doing it until somebody qualified enters your. It's kind of like going on a dating site and hoping that that girlfriend of yours or boyfriend um is the perfect match, because a lot of times you're gonna get mind you, again, that is the civilian side of it. The other side of it is basically you being management, and you having to deal with all this. You're imagine you're being a manager, a manage uh a management a manager, sorry, a manager. You're a hiring manager at some kind of company, whatever, and you are basically looking at these applicants, and you're looking at specific criteria. This specific criteria is, obviously you have to work at certain hours. You have to know your trade, basically. You gotta, and even if it's someone new to the working force, which is highly likely. A lot of times people prefer the newer newbies, the new kids in the block, because a lot of times on you never know. Like some others, there's moments where you're like, oh damn, you never worked this before. Oh damn, you are wonderful. You are amazing, and we're gonna keep you because you are so great, and we can make you better. You know, again, that is a good company. The bad company is basically see this person's like, oh damn, awesome, awesome, awesome. You're working awesome. Thank you for working, and we'll keep in touch if you retain your job. What do you What do you mean? I signed up. I didn't sign anything. And if you try telling me that I signed something, that's defamation, and I can fire you for that. Ooh, just take the last bill. Just take the last paycheck, and you could leave. See, those are the kind of people that I can't stand, because they cause more hiring costs. They cause more problems. Or in really bad situations, they either, I've seen one, I've heard so many stories about a company allowing company the managers to berate and then here's another one that will always get me when they mention pizza party, ladies and gentlemen, and they say, well, we can't hire more people because, well, we wouldn't be getting pizza parties. I'm like, okay, first of all, we don't need pizza parties. We don't. In fact, that would actually kind of impede us doing our job. And they say, well, it's good for morale. Well, good for morale is showing us respect at the job we're doing, and paying us what we're worth. That would increase morale 100%. Makes me want to come back. Makes me not want to shoot myself every time I think to myself, hey, I'm getting a promotion. Oh, Susie from over here is getting promoted over me, even though she hasn't done jack shit. Oh, she's the boss's niece. Oh, that makes sense. Again, guys, that's what toxic looks like. Nepotism disguised in professionalism, and then they tell you, hey, you should stop complaining because we give you this. Ladies and gentlemen, I should stop complaining when you stop doing what you're doing. That's the whole point there. I will not stop complaining when you don't do what you're supposed to be fucking doing. You're not paying people correctly. You're not putting the rotas correctly. Schedules. I've had many people give me crap about having schedules. correct, and then management tried to revamp the schedule to either, because it is actually a very um, effed up ploy where some managements actually schedule more or less depending on whether they want to keep them or they just want to overwork the person. I've actually seen both. I've used to work at a I used to work at a pizzeria, making pizza. I'm not gonna say which one because honestly, I don't really work there anymore. Thank the gods, because honestly, it was kind of both. I'm actually surprised they're still around. But anyway, so I used to work at a pizzeria, and I've had some issues with the management. And honestly, the management itself. See, the manager I didn't have issues with. The general manager I had no issues with. In fact, he was a buddy of mine. We still keep in touch every now and again. Um, I could say we're still on Facebook together. Honestly, we still talk. Um, yes, folks, I'm that old. I'm still on Facebook. Anyway, now we are not only on Facebook, but we still keep in touch and see what's going on in each other's lives. That's the kind of people we are. Me and the old general manager. He's not there anymore. Thank the gods. He got out of there fast. Um, anyway, so what happened was, and mind you, this is what's happening. This was happening to him. He had to deal with a lot of crap. He had situations where they tried making him doing deliveries, guys. Our location did not do deliveries, but he had to do it on his own gas. They did not try. They did not want to reimburse him for that. Ladies and gentlemen, when they try to tell you that you need to do it this way, and then they will not help you with your own charges because of said situation, like for instance, you are using your own car, right? And they will not reimburse you for gas, guys, that is basically me telling you no. Unless you reimburse me for gas, I am not doing that service. And if you try to tell me that I have to because management, well, why don't you come? Why don't you come and do it yourself and basically be out of pocket for that money, and then tell me that I have to do this job? Don't try to threaten me. That's what I would have said. I actually told him that, and he goes, "Yeah, I get you." And mind you, it took him 3 years to finally have the backbone to finally say, "You know what? Fuck it, I'm out." And mind you, the reason I'm mentioning it at all, this whole, you know, is they try basically they tried framing me for sexual harassment. It didn't go anywhere because I had way too many people on my back saying that I would never do that because I'm not that kind of person. I like to think that I'm not that kind of person. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't. But apparently, I had enough backup because I showed them the kind of person and worker I was. And the owners, mind you, this is the owners that I'm talking about that I can never stand. They are nitpicking assholes that every time they went up to you, they had a grievance. Or at least for me, for some dumb reason. I did everything I could. I did what they were supposed to. I made the pizzas look good and delicious. And honestly, guys, it's hard to mess up a pizza unless you drop it on the floor. I'm going to be honest. And mind you, yes, I dropped a few, but who hasn't? Who hasn't made a snafu like that? And I try very, 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 very hard not to do that mistake ever. Anyway, so so what happens, guys, is for me, it happened to me. After a certain point, I was getting crap from the owners, and I kept telling them, I was like, hey, I know what's going on. I know what I'm supposed to do. It doesn't take too much brains. At first, thank you for showing me, but now it's exactly what it looks like. I mean, people are gonna eat it. If it looks delicious, and it is delicious, then why are you complaining? And he goes, well, it's costing us money. It's like, no, it really isn't. They're they're paying for the only thing that's costing you money is not paying for, not being basically. You know what the problem with these people are? They they made a mistake when they made their pizza. Mind you, I love what they did. It's basically a buffet pizza. You could put anything and everything on it. Here's the thing: for us as the job, you had to put it, you know, because it was a very it was only one size pizza, guys. It was a very big, like I think 14-inch pizza, like a personal pizza, guys. It really was. And it was delicious. Don't get me wrong, it was delicious. The dough was done here. It was done in the store and everything. Everything was done correctly. But the problem with these guys was they were penny pinching. They tried chipping out on the worst case scenarios. They tried telling us that they needed to put less cheese, less meat, less sauce. Guys, any less sauce, and we would have just basically giving them a basic pizza without sauce. It was the less thing they wanted. They practically got to the point where they were trying to tell us that we need to put one thing of meat on each slice. And that was the only thing they wanted us to do. And I'm like, I am not putting that around like in a circle and then saying, "Oh, there you go, there's your pizza," because that was essentially what they were trying to tell me they wanted me to do, and I was not gonna. And they got mad. I didn't say it, but I basically rebelled because I was sick and tired of their nitpicking. And apparently they retaliated in the sense of telling me that I didn't need to work there if they're not going to do I'm not going to do their way of thinking. So they cut down my hours to practically nothing. I was getting 20 hours a week, if that. My checks, if I was lucky at 400, if I was fucking lucky, I was like, I'm getting nothing and I'm working. Ladies and gentlemen, there were days I was working all day long, like from opening all the way to close, and my checks did not show that. They showed barely 6 to 7 hours per day, and it was like 3 days a week at minimum, 3 or 4 days a week per minimum. And I'm looking at these people going, "Where's the rest of it? Where's the and the where?" And here's the sketchier part. They were they were skimming off our tips. They were looking at our tips online, and they were basically taking that from us. I didn't find out until later. Well, I found out years later, like 2 3 years later, until when one of my old managers comes into my job and says, "Yeah, they basically been skimming, and I'm glad you left because I'm." He didn't say that to hurt me. He said, "I am glad you left because I saw what they were trying to do to you." First, it wasn't any of the girls that were basically saying they were practically coerced into saying that I was getting inappropriate, even though I didn't even. Ladies and gentlemen, don't get me wrong. There were really pretty girls in our group, in where I worked, very pretty girls. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm over 30, and these girls were barely in their they were barely over 18 years old. I would have been as old as their father at least, and that kind of killed the buzz. I mean, yeah, they were very pretty girls. One of them was married. She was 22, and the other girl that was even remotely attractive to me, she was barely 19, guys. She was barely at 19. I'm like, oh, come on. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I found her conventionally attractive, but again, I was not the kind of guy that would go after like that. I would never do that. Anyway, see, those are the I wanted to give you those examples of toxic environments that I've either seen or been through. And like I said, I'm not gonna tell you where I worked because honestly, they don't deserve the mention. The only reason I'm even mentioning it all was because I wanted you guys to focus on what traits are good for a management or a company. And if they try basically cutting your hours, gaslighting you like, oh, we're a family, things like that. If they try to tell you all that, just any of that, it's crap. It's junk. They're not thinking of you. They're thinking of themselves. They think that they can say these words and manipulate you. It is basically a emotional manipulation, and guys, don't let it happen, please. I implore you, ladies and gentlemen, do not let it happen because they will try to get away with it more often than not. It will get to the point where they'll stop trying to manipulate you and say, oh well, we're family. So if you think we're family, then just do it. They'll stop the pretense, guys. They will really stop the pretense after a certain point. They will automatically assume that just by saying the words "we are a family," it's like automatic hypnosis. It's like, oh yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, daddy. Ladies and gentlemen, don't ever let it get to the point where they say those words and you do it. And if they say, well, we're a family here, and if you I'm me personally, and I hope you do too. You tell them, stop right there. We are not a family, neither by blood or by choice. Those are the two ways that you can become a family, by blood or by choice. And neither one of them apply here. So don't ever say that we're family because I'm not here to help you. I'm here to get my job done. I'm here to get paid. And if I don't get paid or shown a little bit of respect, your little request slash order is not happening. And if you try to tell me that I got to just because I am below you in this company, because that's all it is, guys. The hierarchy is not meant to do anything more than just show you where your place is. And honestly, guys, that in itself needs to stop. Yeah, you might be a manager at some kind of big company or whatever, but ladies and gentlemen, a good manager shows love and well, not really love, but it shows respect, a basic amount of respect to their subordinates. A manager basically shows that, hey, you're good people. I got you. Um, oh, you got a life. Well, I mean, we do have the rules, but I mean, we can't, you know, point is, and here's the last thing I'm gonna say, guys. If you try to get some PTO or some kind of get off, like for emergency for either an emergency or just a personal day, they legally can't ask you why you are asking for this. They legally can't. And if they try to put it in the bylaws, guys, well, I mean, you could just say it's a family thing. And honestly, guys, you really don't need to elaborate any further than that. You barely have to elaborate in general. It just basically says that they're trying to tell they're basically trying to look out reasons for to deny you. So basically says I am doing a family thing or a personal thing, and they can't or they shouldn't be able to say anything about it because your mental health is just as important. People and if and here's a red flag: if there are managements that say mental health or any variation of mental health, oh, or mental health, I don't believe in it or anything of that nature, anything that derives from any of that. That is your cue that your manager is toxic because they don't care about you. It's not that they don't believe in mental health, they believe in it as long as it's their own. But when it comes to yours, yeah, not, no, they don't care. They don't care. Anyway, please do me a favor if you haven't already, and if you have caught to this point, thank you very much. Please do me a favor as you watch more of these videos, watch it through all the way through. It helps my metrics go up. Um, the algorithm is funny that way. I don't know what's going on with it. Um, but like and subscribe. It definitely helps the channel and show me a little love. Help help the videos and help the channel in general. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. This is your friendly neighborhood gamer Djinn Nikandor, wishing you love, luck, happiness as you exit the den of the Djinn. Be safe out there, guys.